Hello and welcome to the UMW volunteer training video. In this video, we're going to talk about some things to keep in mind as you get started working with your community agency. First of all, think about putting your best foot forward. On your first day, make sure you know where you're supposed to go and when you're supposed to be there. You might want to make a practice trip before your first trip if you're nervous about where to go. Remember to write down the address and the location and the time you're supposed to be there, and try to be on time, or even better, be early. Know who your site supervisor is and how to reach them if you have any questions. Another important thing to think about is how to make sure you're going to follow all the rules and guidelines of the agency that you're partnering with. If these rules are not obvious to you, or if you have some questions, you may wish to ask your site supervisor or maybe the core council leader if it's a core weekly program. Some organizations actually require that you participate in volunteer training, and so you may wish to find out when the volunteer training is and make sure you have that volunteer training before you start on your first day. And then finally, learn more about the organization or agency you're going to be working with. Make sure you visit their website, learn about their mission statement, some of their programs, so that when you start on the first day, you're knowledgeable about what you're getting into.
Don't forget, when you're volunteering, you're representing UMW, so make sure you act in a respectful and professional manner in all you do. It's important that you dress appropriately. Wear clothes that are appropriate to the situation, and a few other things to think about. If you're working with young children, don't wear dangling earrings because children can pull them and that could really hurt your ears. Also, you should be aware that some children are sensitive to smell, so limit your perfume use, especially if you're working with children. If you're going to do sports or be active, make sure you wear clothes that you can move in. Make sure you treat others with kindness and respect. And that also means to be present. Don't tune out and spend all your time looking at your cell phone. While you're volunteering, you want to actually be there and be paying attention to what you're doing. It's important that you use respectful language. Remember, you're representing UMW, so please don't curse and don't use any language that could be considered disrespectful. It's also important that you respect privacy, so confidential material must be kept confidential. If you're journaling and that's required for a class, make sure you use initials or pseudonyms when you talk about the people that you're working with. Also, avoid taking photos. If you have to take photos, get permission first.
So as you start your volunteer process and work with a community organization, you're going to have many new and exciting experiences. But one of the things to keep in mind is to think about ways to be safe. So always think about attending to the safety of yourself and those that you work with. You may wish to consider volunteering in groups or in pairs if that's something you feel is important and then maybe it's your first time volunteering. Whenever you leave to go to your community organization, make sure somebody knows where you are and always have a way of communicating with others, just in case you need help, so make sure your cell phone is charged. If you ever experience or observe something that's concerning to you, make sure you report it to your site supervisor, your faculty supervisor, and or core staff if needed. It's really important that you elevate that and make sure you talk about it with somebody who can give you advice or assistance. Always get help if you need it, and know your limits. Do not try to provide services or help that you're not qualified to provide. And then finally, as you volunteer, you're going to meet many new people and have many great experiences, but always remember to maintain appropriate boundaries. Don't ever give out personal information to clients you're working with. Don't give out your address or phone number. Definitely don't ever loan money to clients, and always make sure you maintain appropriate emotional boundaries. Remember, in many cases, the people you're working with are clients and are not supposed to be your friends.
Working with community agencies can sometimes be a frustrating experience because a lot of things can happen that are out of your control. And when this happens, it's important to be flexible. These settings are unpredictable and you never know what's going to happen. So it's important to have a positive attitude. And when things don't go according to plan, have empathy for the agency and clients. If people are getting sick and that's interfering with your volunteer experience, you should be concerned about their illness too, and not just about the fact that you're not getting your hours. And it's important to take initiative. If you're not getting the experience that you were hoping to get, you might need to talk to some people at the agency and ask about maybe getting a different kind of experience. So sometimes volunteer hours are canceled, and this can cause a lot of stress if you're volunteering for a class and you have to get a specific number of hours for class requirements. If this is happening, talk to your professor and have a plan B. And you may also want to talk to core staff about other opportunities. Core runs a lot of fantastic programs, and they may be able to find another placement site for you. It's also important to be healthy. You have to take care of yourself while you're volunteering. You do not want to let helping others be at the expense of your own mental and physical health. So, while you're volunteering, as well as throughout your entire UMW experience, it's important to get enough sleep, eat healthy meals, and get regular exercise. And if you're feeling stressed about your experience, talk about that with friends and classmates or core staff. But don't forget the principles of confidentiality. Don't use names or identifying information. Now, you might find while you're volunteering that you have a particularly upsetting experience, or that perhaps something that you experience while you volunteer is triggering for you and reminds you of a previously past upsetting experience. If this is the case, you need to talk to someone, and you need to decide whether or not it's appropriate for you to continue your volunteer experience. And you also might want to seek help at the Tally Center, the UMW Counseling Center. They can provide an excellent source of help and support.
So thank you for watching. We hope that this video provided you with some useful information to make the most of your volunteer experience. On our next video, we're going to give you some information to help you enhance your learning experience as you partner with your community organizations.